Now look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me. Tuesday evening. Couldn't hop on in the morning, so we had to hop on at night. That's just what it is. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
We got to talk Lamar Jackson. Crazy game last night. 47-42. Ravens take care of the Browns. Lamar Jackson had cramps, they saying. Or he's saying. He confirmed it. He said it's cramps. Don't try to do me. First Take Tuesday. I'm going to talk about Lamar and his cramps.
Cramps running through the tunnel, huh? Where was he cramping? It wasn't the legs.
Look. We're going to talk about that.
I know a shitty walk when I see one.
Big Nick the Quick wants to talk about Kyrie. Come on. We can talk about Kyrie for a whole season and no catch up. Then we're going to talk NBA. Giannis signs the super duper max, $228 million deal. Richest man in NBA history. That's the richest deal. It's as big as it gets. So we're going to talk about that. Then after we get off of Giannis, we'll talk a little more NBA, and then we'll go into NFL. Real contenders. I want to talk about who's real, who's not. The Steelers seem to be phony. Are the Bills real? I know it might be a little recency bias there, but we'll see how it goes. Big Nick the Quick.
Yo.
What's happening?
I'm just living in my MVP year, bro. That's how I feel right now. You know, I had to, man, the last few days I've been reflecting.
Yeah.
I got back with the people who I associated with when I was in my MVP year, and I'm locked in. I got 198 million, and now I'm ready to go. Last year I wasn't ready. I don't know. I wasn't ready, but I'm back in my MVP. Hold on. I got to do this. I got to be slumped.
Yo.
I'm back in my MVP year.
Yo, when you put it like, yeah, okay. After you sign for an extra 190.
I'm ready.
I think that came out before he signed, but yes, you know the vibe.
Yeah.
First Take Tuesday. Like you said, it's still a first take because it's the first time you heard from us. Tuesday evening, Chicago, Illinois. Man, I want to talk about Lamar Jackson. That's my first take. Crazy game last night. Hopefully you didn't have Browns -3 or 3.5 or whatever it was. That was ugly. I've been there. I feel for you. I apologize. But it was a crazy game, back and forth. It seems, at least for part of the game, that they were letting Lamar kind of be Lamar, and they're not trying to make him just stand in the pocket and do his thing. They're letting him run around more and kind of make more plays. He still looks very shaky.
Yeah.
I think that's let's just keep it 100. Let's just say what it is. He looks very shaky, and that means they're going to look shaky trying to make the playoffs. And if they get in the playoffs, it's going to be shaky. But
wait, let me ask you this. Do you think he looks shaky, or is it like we already know what's going to he's not where he needs to be for playoff football? Because I don't think he looked shaky last night. I just think that they called the game plan that was going to work for him. I mean, he was all over the place running the ball. He didn't throw it too. Most of his completions came in that final 2 minutes after he came back from the shitty pants.
At the half, he had like right around 50 or 60 yards passing.
Like 8 yards passing, like 100 yards rushing.
Yeah, it was crazy. So
yeah.
Shaky meaning he's not going to be able to drop back in the pocket and throw the rock. I mean, we know he can run around and move like that. That's not, if he gets space, he could take off there. But we've seen it for I don't know how many years now. That's not going to win you the title. It's just not going to do it. So he looks shaky in the sense of he doesn't look like an MVP. How about that? So however you want to categorize that, he looks worse than he did, and he should be looking better being it another year in the league, looking at defenses, reading through things. So the big story, he disappears into the locker room, and all of a sudden Twitter starts rumbling that the broadcast reports that he had cramps. People on Twitter are like, yeah, bro, nah, man. This dude went in there to take a shit. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen that run. I saw Buddy wave dude out the way at the door.
Yeah, hey, bro, I got it. Yeah.
Hey, get out the way. I got something I got to take care of. And it wasn't that he didn't look injured.
No, not at
At
all.
any point. Like, never looked injured, right? And I remember thinking when he was coming out, I'm like, man, if he's coming out after McSorley gets hurt, then what was he doing in the locker room in the first place?
Yeah.
So him taking the shit makes sense. And my first take Tuesday on the whole thing was he should have just owned it. If he did it or not, he could have just been like, yo, man.
Everybody poops.
Everybody,
Ain't nothing wrong with it, bro. Like, yeah, we get it, man. Like, there's sometimes he probably started feeling it, in the third there, and was like, yeah, you know what, I can probably make it another hour.
Well,
and then what happens, man? Hey, it's like, oh wait, no, hold on.
Wait,
if I get tackled, you know what I'm saying?
Do you think he had to take a shit for real, or it was cramps?
I don't understand how you were cramped and you run through the tunnel.
Yeah, that's the question.
And when you're cramped, you run to the locker room. I mean, I know you want to get stretched out, whatever it might be, to take care of that, but you don't. You want to move with a sense of urgency, but if you're cramped, you can't move through the tunnel like that. The way that he was moving was like he had somewhere to go.
And there was never he wasn't ever getting treatment on the side.
Yeah, they could have helped. Yeah, team doctor would have talked to him on the side and been like, "Oh, you got cramp? All right, let's go. We'll walk you back there."
He just kind of disappeared to the back.
Yeah. No medical professional would be like, "Yeah, go run back there if your leg or whatever's cramped up." No, he had to take a shit.
Right.
I don't know why he won't admit it either, man. It's all good. Like, look, man, you gotta go. You gotta go.
Just own it, and it would. You ended up winning the game. I think it's a whole different story if you lose the game and people are talking shit and it ends up being, the game that knocks you guys out of the playoff race.
Yeah, of course.
It's almost like a legendary thing now. Like,
would you even give him shit if that happened, man? Look, man, we're all human beings, man. If the man really has to take a shit, he's out there on the football field. He's got to take a shit. I mean, you can't. I guess like that first take would be like, does Lamar Jackson not have the heart of a champion because he needed to shit and I'm gonna get? You know what I mean? Like, come on.
So yeah, that's my first take. Own it. He should have owned it either way. Even if he didn't take a shit, it's good for the brand. It's good for the story. They won the game, and you keep it moving. Either way, they're going to be talking about that for a long, long time to come. Shout out Lamar. Go Ravens. I hope they make the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I'm with it. Let's give a shout out to Baker real quick, too. He's gotten a lot of shit this year. Yeah. Really a shout out to Stefanski. Again, every week we see coaches that look at their personnel and make decisions based on that. Unlike what we have here in Chicago. I know I missed on Monday, whatever. I don't care anything about that victory. What a waste. But you look at Stefanski, he comes in there and says, hey, look, man, this is how we're going to run it. But each week he's given Baker a little bit more leash. And I'll tell you this, they lost last night is what it is. That was a great game. That's a tough team.
Yeah, they got a good.
That's a good ball club.
Yeah,
that is a very good ball club.
Yeah.
They're putting themselves in a position to maybe win that division. I guess no, you really can't anymore. I guess you could only even it out with the Steelers, right? But
I don't know. I don't know what the tiebreaker is.
Yeah. But either way, good football team, good coaching job, and shout out Baker for sticking through it. I'm kind of happy he didn't win, so we didn't have to hear him talk about it for fucking 3 weeks, but. Shout out Baker, man.
Yeah, no, he's playing well, and he looked good, and
they can tote that rock.
It'll be man.
They got two studs. They can tote that rock all day.
They can run that motherfucker all night.
All day. You got two number 1A backs. Like people forget Kareem Hunt before all that shit led the league in rushing, and is still a young man.
Yeah, that was a great pickup. I remember, if you remember, we were talking about. I'm like, yo, the Bears. Listen, I know it's going to be a bad look for a little bit.
Couldn't do it.
But now look at it. Like he paid his dues. He served his time with the suspension, lost a bunch of bread. They got him on a cheap deal, man, and we could have used him all year.
Big time.
No doubt.
Absolutely. Yeah. So shout out them. Shout out Lamar. Crazy game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First take Tuesday. Lamar, own it, baby. Do what you got to do. Shitty situation, but
Shitty Walt Jackson. All right, my first take Tuesday, and this isn't even a first take, and I don't even know how hot it is, but I give the Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Steve Nash, Brooklyn Nets relationship, 6 months tops before Kyrie finds a way. And like 6 months is being generous. Like this shit could happen tomorrow for all we know.
Yeah.
Before Kyrie finds a way to completely ruin it. I don't know if you've been paying attention like the last week or so. The Kyrie Irving media tour of not doing a media tour, but still kind of doing a media tour and saying I'm not going to give interviews, but talking in front of cameras when I see them and hopping on live and talking about how I'm not going to get interviews and then referring to other human beings as pawns. It's just taken a whole nother life form, man. This dude is such a clown, right? He is so like in his own head, man, has such an inflated view of himself and really who he is. Like, look, bro, we get it, man. Like, you are an awesome basketball player. You can do things with the ball that and finish in ways that we haven't seen guards be able to finish before, right? NBA champion, hit one of the biggest shots in NBA history, in one of the biggest comebacks in NBA history. Like, you get all that. You'll always get all your flowers from me for that. But some of these comments, man, like some of the shit that this dude comes out and says, and the way that he carries himself, right? Like you and I always talk about it, man. Be you, be yourself, man. You don't have to conform for anybody. But man, like coming out and referring to media members as pawns and like, I'm not going to talk to these people.
He said he wasn't referring to the media when he said
whatever. I'm gonna go play in Brooklyn, New York, but decide that I'm gonna do a media boycott and it's all about basketball, or I'm gonna hop on Kevin Durant's pod, talk shit about LeBron, and then the next day put out a statement like, we're all supposed to be brothers. Why are you always trying to put brother on brother? It's just like a never-ending string of nonsense from this guy. And I don't know how, if I'm Kevin Durant, if I'm Steve Nash, or if I'm any of those dudes in that locker room, how long I'm going to be able to put up with that. Like, this dude is just such a clown. So, like, when they asked him yesterday about the pawn thing, he said, it's unbelievable. And I wanted to make sure that was clear. No distractions. Nothing about dispelling anything. Nothing about going back and forth. Nor about calling out one person or another. Not even to refer to you guys as pawns, you know what I mean? Or media. It's just really how I felt about the mistreatment of certain artists when we get to a certain platform, when we make decisions within our lives to have full control and ownership. Who is stopping Kyrie from making the decision in his life to have full control and ownership? I feel like he's another one of those dudes who is it I used to talk about all the time last year that was creating demons that weren't there? I forget who it is, but I was like, yo, this dude is always referring to these people that are against him and they don't exist. That's who Kyrie is, man. He lights some shit on fire, right? And then when people say, hey, Kyrie, you lit some shit on fire, he gets mad at them for telling them that. You know what I mean? It's like you can't go out and say all this reckless shit, right? And then not expect people to cover it. I don't feel like Kyrie Irving has been an unfairly treated basketball player throughout his career. He hasn't gotten the flack that KD has gotten. He hasn't had his jerseys burned. He hasn't had any of that shit. I almost feel like he wants that shit because he wants to be fit into that narrative of these athletes that are constantly hated. When in reality, bro, nobody's thinking about you like that.
Like he wants to be a villain.
He wants to be a villain, but the only time we talk about you is when you talk about yourself, right? You ask for attention, and then you get mad when people cover you. Like, you're just a clown, bro. So, like, if I'm in that locker room and, like, I'm watching that live the other day where he's dead-ass serious telling KD he wants to post up 8 times a game. Like, are you serious?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, KD. Say, we'll see.
KD's like, bro, I don't know if it's a good look. And KD's trying to be cool, you know,
right.
Like, I don't really know this. I guess now I'm really getting to know this dude. He's weird as fuck. But, like, yeah, I don't know if it's a great look within our offense to have our point guard post up 8 times a day. And then Kyrie deadass goes, okay, well, how about 7? And it's just like, bro, I don't get it.
So wait, let me ask you this on that token, because I agree. I think he does stir up a lot of stuff and say stuff when I don't think it's warranted or it's really. I don't know. I don't know. No one asked. I don't think it's even little things he makes into really big deals, and there's not a lot there.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Was that part of the reason to go get Steve Nash? Maybe he felt, and because maybe he's the I don't know who was the main drive behind Nash coming to town, but it definitely had a big part to do with Kyrie and KD, right?
Yeah.
Do you think he's trying to get Nash there because he feels like he'll have a little more leverage and can move how he wants to move and it'll be less of an authoritarian figure than I guess an older veteran coach would be?
So I mean, I think Kyrie will never be able to look at Steve Nash and be like, bro, you don't know what you're talking about as far as my job. You haven't been through what I've been through, because Steve Nash has 100% been through it. So I think he's going to get some respect in that regard. But, dude, I think, like, I don't think it's.
Oh, you muted yourself, G. There you go.
Hello?
You back. Yeah, you back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
So I can't hear you, but I don't feel like you can
Kyrie.
get through to him at all, right? Like, I think that he's kind of made up his mind about how he feels and how he thinks about a certain situation. So Steve Nash or no Steve Nash, I don't think you're necessarily going to get a situation where he's going to be like, oh, okay, because it's Steve Nash, I'm going to change how I'm thinking, or I'm going to change my ways, right? I think Kyrie is set in his ways. I think he believes he is who he is, and I don't think you're going to be able to change that.
It's gonna be.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think like he's gonna be like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna stop being an asshole because Steve Nash is here. Like, no, I really think that like he's one of these dudes. He really believes this shit. I'm an artist. Like, yeah, you are an artist, man. Like, you are creating art as a basketball player. You know, I can't hear anything you're saying right now, so I'm gonna disconnect and come back on.
All right, yeah,
after I finish this thought. But like, yeah, you are an art. Like, I get what he's trying to say, man. But like, so much of this is self-inflicted. Is my issue with him, right? I think again, he does this shit. Wonders why he gets covered negatively after he does it, and then says, I'm going to do a media boycott. It's not anyone stopping you from trying to live your life or do whatever it is that you want to do. It's you say shit about it, talk about it, and then say, hey, don't talk to me. What are you doing? I'm just trying to play ball and create. It's like, come on, man, get out of here with all that.
I think one of the interesting things, while Big Nick the Quick hops off, I think one of the interesting things about what he's saying is that Kyrie easily could have did a boycott by not announcing that he was going to do a boycott. He could have took the fine. Just didn't say anything and then kept it and played ball. I think it's like, I'm going to create an issue by saying that I'm not going to talk to the media instead of just not talking to the media.
Exactly.
Just like, how about you just don't talk to the media?
Just don't talk to the media. Don't tell us about your quest to not talk to. That's what I'm
exactly.
saying. Yeah. Right. You hit it right there. Like, that's what I was trying to say. It's like, you can, if you don't want to talk to the media, that's fine. Right. I think it's a dumb move, because you can't sit here and act like the media doesn't play a part in what you do. And that part of the reason that you have the money that comes into the league, who pays a lot of the money into the league? It's the media companies. It's the ESPNs. It's the ABCs. It's the TNT. So because of that, one of their expectations is, hey, we have access to stars. That's how the deal works. I don't like people who decide who go into the deal and then decide halfway through. I don't like how this works, because you sure did use the media when you wanted to sell sneakers. You used the media when you wanted to sell your whack ass movie. You use the media to put out your trade rumors when you want to get out of Cleveland. But now it's like, no, I don't need these pawns. It's like, come on, bro.
Fair enough. Well,
so I give it 6 months, man. I don't think that partnership will last. KD's a super sensitive dude. If he can't deal with Moody Draymond, he's not gonna be able to deal with Moody Kyrie, because Kyrie will bring the whole shit down. I feel like he has to let you know how he feels.
Yeah, that is one thing. If he
can't just have a bad day.
If he's feeling a certain way, he's gonna let you know.
Yeah, that's the type of guy.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that'll the energy will be really bad because he wants to make it known that shit's not sitting right with him, or it's not going how he wants it to go.
Boston swapped him out for Kemba, who's a worse player than him, right? Kyrie's a better player than Kemba Walker, right? More talented. They got exponentially better. It was like they would have fucking started Brad Wanamaker over Kyrie if they had to, just to get that guy out of the building.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Speaking of deals and commitments, you sign a deal, you're supposed to go through it. It says Big Nick the Quick. Giannis signs the Supermax with Milwaukee. I think it's 228, full 5-year, $228 million Supermax, with an opt-out after 4 to stay in Milwaukee for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Remember when $20 million was a lot?
So that was a long time ago.
Not even shit.
We're gonna be in the 50s. We're gonna be in the 50s here pretty soon. Let me see. What's 228 divided by 5?
It's 45.
Yeah, 45 and a half. 45.6.
It was crazy. I was watching that D Rose documentary the other day, and they're talking about D Rose signed his landmark 5-year, $98 million extension. I'm like, damn, dog, you missed out on about 150 if you'd been born a couple years later.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But Giannis signs the Supermax. Let me give you my initial take when I read that tweet. I kind of just shrugged my shoulders, bro. Like, word.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a 2-year deal is the way I see it.
Yeah. And I mean, for me too, people, or I guess if you're a Bucks fan, you're trying to angle it as we got him. He wants to be here. I see it more as Fam had to sign for a quarter billion.
Listen, yeah.
Like he just signed it. It seems like, put it like this. It in no way, shape, or form to me meant that he's gonna finish his career in Milwaukee or anything like that. It was, he had the option to sign the Supermax. Maybe he shopped around or did a couple things and didn't feel like he wanted to go anywhere else and leave that money on the table. So let's try to get one in Milwaukee. And if I'm gonna tell you this right now off top, if he doesn't win the title next year or the year after that, he's out of Milwaukee.
100%.
Without question.
100%. And that's why I said it's a 2-year deal. And also, man, look at the landscape of the league right now. All of these dudes, with the exception of Kawhi Leonard, are signing these max extensions right now because they have no idea what the league's financial situation is going to look like going forward. With COVID, with the new CBA in a couple of years, get your money right now before these owners start crying poor by not having people in the stands. If $250 million is on the table, sign it, worry about it later. AD signed his shit. Paul George signed his shit. Bam is signing his shit. Giannis signed his shit, man. I think you hit it right on the head.
Paul signed his.
Paul was going to sign his immediately. Paul, because he's going to be back at $20 million with another bad year. But all these dudes are going to sign it, man, because shit is up in the air. But I give it's 2 years. They got 2 years before they can start hearing grumblings about Giannis wanting to get out of there. The biggest thing that it does for them this year and right now is it kills all that talk heading into the season. It kills him having to answer those questions after every single game. It kills, whatever, that whole vibe being there, that whole narrative. Yeah, that whole narrative being present throughout the team the entire year. It kills all of that. So it was a win-win for both sides. But no, it's definitely not complete.
The NBA is so unique that I should say it's very unique for a handful of dudes that you sign for as much as literally possible, and then you kind of keep your eyes peeled on what could come next, where I could go next. You're gonna have options. Giannis is always gonna have an option on what he can do, and I think it's a big deal because I think this James Harden door is really open, and I don't see why. You obviously keep Drew Holiday, my boy J. Rue. Because he just got to town. But everybody else, my man, especially if you can get James, because he's not due. You'll get 2 full years of James before you have to start talking about a new deal. I think he has a player option after these 2 full seasons. So if you could get guaranteed 2 years out of James, then everybody outside of Giannis and Drew Holiday should be available and should be ready to move.
If Houston tells you they want Drew Holiday in the deal, I think you make that deal just to put Giannis with a player like James Harden. We talked about this last week. He needs a closer, right? I think if you want to maximize Giannis, just like Anthony Davis need to have that other guy, I think it's just hard for bigs, and Giannis is a big. Like let's not sugarcoat it, right? It's hard for bigs to kind of carry that, like to be closers like that. So putting them with a guy like James, who's going to take those shots, who's going to carry the offense, who's going to be that second guy, and they're not really going to get in the way of each other. will be the perfect type of player to play with Giannis. Like people talking like the Ben Simmons thing, like that wouldn't work. You know, I think you got to put him with that type of player, and James is the perfect type of guy for him. And yeah, we've seen it, man. Signing these deals doesn't mean anything. Like it doesn't mean anything. You know what it means? That over the next 5 years, Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to make $228 million playing basketball.
Yeah,
that's it.
And that's locked in.
That's it. His family's straight.
However you want to do it.
It also means it probably means that Wes is going to get a deal too. You know, one of his brothers is probably going to piggyback off this deal because Milwaukee's got to show love. It means that the Lakers are probably going to have to cut the brother that they had on the roster because they're paying him just to make sure that Giannis might come over in a couple of years. But he probably knows, like, as soon as Giannis signed his deal's over with. He's like, damn, I'm out the league now. This sucks. So yeah, shout out him, man. But I don't think if you're Milwaukee, you can't sit back and do nothing. I think you got to get ultra aggressive. You got to get rid of that Middleton deal. That shit is in 2 years. That Middleton deal is going to be the biggest fucking hindrance to anything that you want to do.
Yeah, that's a tough deal. That's a tough deal. Unless, I mean, listen, it's not completely, I guess, I think we know who Middleton is, but if they could get some help and he can get even more open looks, he's shown that he could knock shots down if he
doesn't suck. No, he's good. He's a good player.
He's not a number 2 option. He's not a number 2. That's what we're getting at.
He's a really good number 3. Like if you had him as your number 3 guy and your top 2 guys were Giannis and James Harden, you'd be fine. If you told me they had Giannis, James Harden, and Chris Middleton, I'd be like, that's going to be problematic.
Yes.
Because what Harden lacks defensively, Middleton will make up for that. And Giannis is obviously all world. So yeah.
I don't know if you saw this clip. This is Drew Holiday, J. Rue, and Giannis in practice.
Good deflection. Good.
Bro, that boy Drew locks up
in your chest, yeah.
Like he's right there. He had him on clamps. Obviously, he's too big and Giannis can just shoot over Drew. But that's a great pickup for them, and I'm excited to see, you know, what comes of that. Picnic the Quick dropped off. I don't know what's going on over there in on the north side of town, but that'll be an interesting squad, and I think. The James Harden kind of got the league by the balls, right? Kind of like Kawhi did when he was just. Remember when Kawhi just disappeared?
Yeah, and no one knew where he was. No one knew why he wasn't coming back to San Antonio.
Yeah, and like where he was gonna go, but obviously he was working on the PG deal. It's kind of like the same thing with James. This whole thing with James is going to be really interesting. I think.
I don't think he gets traded this year.
I was just gonna say, do you think is it possible that he gets traded closer to the break or in the middle of the season?
I think that they're really banking on bringing. He's playing tonight, obviously. I think, man, we know these dudes love to hoop, right? And it's different once you start hooping. And I think they're banking on that happening. Hey, man, we get James in uniform. We get James playing some games. Let's hope that we can come out hot. You know what I'm saying? Maybe start 5-1, 5-2, something like that. And convince them that, hey, playing with John Wall, playing with Boogie Cousins, playing with who's the guy, Christian Wood, the other guys they've gotten, it's not going to be that bad, man. We have a plan. We're not rebuilding on this team, not at all. You know, we're trying to win. I think that once you get him in the gym hooping and he's doing that thing that he loves again, I think that they're banking on being able to convince him and kind of quiet things down. One of the dudes not in the, you know, man, when these dudes aren't in the gym, man, the mind starts wandering. He's not hooping. He's not around his teammates. He's not in the mix like that. He starts saying, you know what, man, I see guys going over there, KD, Kyrie. I want to go play with those guys. But you get him in there, man. He gets some time with the head coach. And I think if you're Houston, like your number one thing is like, all right, we get him on the floor and we make it comfortable, right? Like we show him what we're trying to do.
What do we always say, bro? They get him in, they get him on the floor, and the Houston Rockets start winning games.
Let's never hear from him again.
Shit'll start to quiet down.
100%.
You come out there and start losing games, and shit looks all discombobulated, and the new coach Silas is looking sus. Then we got a different story, right?
Right.
But you come out there, and like you said, when the ball, I heard Shams or Woj said on ESPN, he was like, listen, there's one thing about James is when the ball goes up, he plays.
Yeah.
He doesn't sit out games. He plays tons and tons of minutes. And I was like, yeah.
He never misses games. Yeah, he likes to hoop.
He likes to hoop.
He loves to hoop, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you got to remember on these guys. Like, look, you can say how you want to. If it comes down to it, he's not going to miss games. He wants to hoop, man. You look like a clown sitting out for no reason, right? So, like, he's not going to do that, man. He wants to hoop. They're going to get him in the building, get him in the facility, get him around Silas. You know, maybe they can connect and just kind of go from there, man. But, like, yeah, I think, shit, John Wall in 2 preseason games looks good to me. Right? Yeah. Boogie Cousins looks healthy to me. If those guys stay healthy, if those guys are healthy, and that's the biggest.
Also playing the Bulls, but
yeah. If those guys are healthy, and I know those are 2 of the biggest ifs in the NBA, but if they're healthy, that's a decent little squad. It's not a bad squad. Yeah. Like, it's a playoff team for sure, obviously, with those 3 guys. So I don't mind it, man. I don't know. He's not going to get to the places that he wants to get to. Like, all those teams have already said, we're not making these deals. So what are you going to do at this point, man? Revisit in the offseason.
Something, I don't know. I don't know if he really, I don't know if a lot of questions are going to need to be answered for him to be there the whole year and everything be Gucci. You know what I'm saying?
We've seen stranger things happen.
Yes, we have, but
yeah, I mean, I just don't think they're put it this way, they're in no rush to trade him. They are not motivated.
Yeah.
They're not motivated.
All right, let me ask you this. Odds to win MVP led by Luka Doncic. I was talking wait, what's the chuckle for?
Well, it's just fun. Yeah, I mean, it's just Giannis is 2-time back-to-back MVP, and he's not the leader.
He's right behind him. So we got Luka at plus 400. Then we got Giannis at plus 450. Steph Curry plus 750. Anthony Davis plus 800. LeBron 850. Then it goes Kawhi, Durant, Harden, Dame Lillard. Out of that list, who do you think has the best value? So we got Luka Doncic plus 400. And then from there, it's Giannis 450, Steph 750, Anthony Davis 800, LeBron 850, Kawhi 1400, Durant 1500.
What was LeBron?
So that middle of the pack is Steph Curry at plus 750, Anthony Davis plus 800, LeBron plus 850.
Man, see, like, here's the thing, bro. Like, Luka's gonna play. Kawhi, forget about it. He won't play anywhere near enough games.
Yeah.
Braun, we're not seeing until the year 2021.
Really? I don't believe that.
He's playing. He's playing tonight.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I was. You'll see. He's going to load manage this year, though. I feel like.
Yeah.
And he should. The Giannis at plus 450. If you're not going with Luka, the media narrative on Luka for MVP, like, strap in, because that is all you will hear.
I can never
every single day.
Do you know what type of year Giannis would have to have for them to give him 3 in a row? Like, I guess it's very possible.
But he keeps getting fucking better.
I guess it's possible, but 3 MVPs in a row?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I mean, I don't know.
I think Luka wins the award, dude. If Luka puts up 39 and 8 again, Luka could put up the same numbers this year. The momentum on him is going to be so hard to win they want to give Luka the MVP trophy, just like they wanted to give Giannis the MVP trophy 2 years ago. Once they start deciding that you're the story that's going to win the MVP, that's where it's going. James could have averaged 50 points a game last year or 2 years ago. There was no chance he was going to win MVP.
I thought it was interesting that Steph is
that. I don't know where they got that from. That one's crazy. I guess he's going to score a ton for them, but
he's going to score a ton. And I mean, I haven't forgot what Steph is when he's out there.
Oh, of course.
He's also going to get so much attention with Clay out. They did actually a really good breakdown on the jump this afternoon. I was watching when, Clay on the ball or Clay on the floor versus Clay off the floor, and how much more movement they get and how much more that movement helps Steph. So
why is that? Just
because the defense can't key on Steph there's so much more movement happening that you're worried about back doors and cuts. But they were showing when it was like just Steph and D'Angelo Russell and those guys out there. This is a couple years back with the Clips, but everyone was kind of just Steph brought the ball, and as soon as he passed half, there was 4 people looking at him.
Right.
Like, all right, this is the guy you got to stop. So, it'll be interesting to see a full healthy season of Steph without Clay.
Yeah, definitely.
Steph is healthy. He's ready to go. And now his boy is out. So we'll see how that goes. But I thought it was interesting to see him in front of LeBron and Anthony Davis.
I don't really see any value on that board. The value that I said was, what were we talking about the other day? For most improved. Fuck, what were we talking? Literally,
we were talking about
the best bet I had. Why am I tripping on this
what
right
did you
now?
say most improved?
I think it was for most improved, and I was like, this is the lock.
I don't know. Pull it up.
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, pull it up. But either way, I think part of me wants to believe that LeBron is going to try to win MVP. I think he's kind of sick of all these dudes winning MVP, honestly. I think he's going to throw his hat in there and be like,
it was LaMelo Rookie of the Year.
LaMelo.
That was my I think it was plus 700 the other day. That's the lock for me. That's my bet.
He seems to belong. So far, anyway.
Yeah, and the argument that I made for it was, number one, he's not going to adjust to getting used to being a pro because he's been on his own for a while.
Yeah,
which that's a big thing. Like Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, those guys they're 19 years old. Yeah. And he's got an NBA skill. Obviously, he can move the ball, and I think he's going to get the opportunity. My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, yeah,
me to figure out what we were talking about.
I think the opportunity is key.
Yeah.
Kind of like when we were talking about Ja Morant last year and Zion Williamson, we were like, yo, if Zion gets the minutes and is healthy, then he's going to win Rookie of the Year.
100%.
And I think he would have won Rookie of the Year if he got those minutes. Ja Morant played. Ja Morant had the opportunity to literally, they gave him the keys to the franchise year one, ran everything through him. Go do your thing. Go through your thing, Ja. And he delivered one Rookie of the Year.
Almost made the playoffs.
Yeah, so I think that is big to get the opportunity. Like
he's gonna need the opportunity. If you're Charlotte and let's say Charlotte's shitty by game 15, you're gonna be like, all right, like, hey, Devontae Graham, thanks, but the future is LaMelo Ball. Let's just unlock it.
I think they'll both be on the floor.
Well, they'll both be on the floor. Yeah, I think that's the thing with LaMelo. He can play. Yeah, he's a true passer. So you can put him out there with a lot of different guys.
Yeah, but to get back to what I was saying about LeBron, I really think he said it in that presser last year. He's like, man, I don't understand how this MVP voting works anymore. Like, how does this work? Like, how do you get a vote? Because I don't know how I'm not getting any. It's essentially what he was saying. So I wouldn't be surprised if he went in there like, man, I'm about to play 68 of these bitches, and I'm going to win MVP, and we're going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I could see LeBron doing that. I would actually like him to kind of get in there and do that. Obviously, he's going to try to preserve himself and be. It's always championship first with LeBron, but it would be interesting to see him just go full go on one of his last handful of seasons.
The only reason I could see him not doing that is that LeBron is so focused on the end game that he's not going to sacrifice the long term for the short term. And while he might want another MVP and he might be like, yo, I should be getting this, just like he should have got Defensive Player of the Years and things. My bad. I don't think he's ever going to go crazy trying to get it because he understands at the end of the day, championships are what he's counting right now. And that's what's going to cement his legacy. So, I mean, I think he's trying to win as many championships as possible.
And I think they have enough. They have enough.
If an MVP trophy comes along with that, great. But I don't think he's going to go crazy out there trying to play all 72 games and 38 minutes a night trying to get an MVP trophy because ultimately it's not what the Lakers need.
I also think they have enough talent to where he can come out there and kind of do what LeBron does, dish the rock all night, every night. I could see this being a year for LeBron where he's averaging more than 10 dimes a game type of thing. It kind of LeBron is so
like last year. Yeah.
He could just do whatever he wants.
That's what I'm saying. He decides what type of game he wants to play. So we don't really know. Like last year, he just decided to lead the league in assists. Right. So I mean, I think that's a good point. We don't really know. Only he knows what this year will look like for him. Because we could also see him being like, yo, I want to get AD buckets. Like my main goal is to get AD buckets. Right. I know that our team goes as far as he goes. So I might still LeBron's going to get his 25, 26, 27 regardless just by being there, but he might be more focused on that 11, 12 assists and kind of where that goes.
Yo, Cody's just asked an interesting question. He says, do you think Ja gets a chip before Zion?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah. Listen, man, I love Zion, and I really want it to work out.
Yeah.
I don't want to still hear about a dude in year 2 in month 18 of being a professional, and are we talking about what kind of shape he's going to be in?
You think Ja's a little more focused?
I think Ja's a little more focused, and I think they truthfully have a better team around him. I like what they're doing with that situation over there in Memphis. New Orleans got a ton of assets, but I don't think this team that they have right now is the team that they're going to have going forward. Does that make sense? Like, I think you can pencil in Zion, obviously, probably Brandon Ingram, but outside of that, I think there's a ton of moves to be made with this team to kind of figure out what type of guy they want to get around him. If I'm them, I'm just going to throw this out there. If I'm them, I'm calling Houston about the James Harden situation.
Who, Memphis?
No, Memphis or New Orleans. New Orleans has the assets. They say, hey, look, if they want to take a big swing with all those draft picks and all those young guys that they have, he's under contract. Bring his ass down to New Orleans. Now, he might like it too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
good spot to be. He can't like it anymore. He can't like it anymore than he likes Houston. So,
well, yeah, but Houston's not. Shit. Compared to New Orleans,
I mean, they're both great.
Yeah, they're both great. But
I
after
like New Orleans a lot, though.
Yeah, but if he gets out of a game in New Orleans at like 9 o'clock, that's like morning over there. You know what I'm saying? Get a beignet. Where we at this afternoon? James, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Like James is gonna be shitty out there. He's gonna be kicking it with little baby and everybody.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's why I think that's a great question. But yeah, I think Ja gets the chip before Zion. I like Zion, man. I just don't like the fucking. We're still talking about a guy who can't get in shape.
Yeah, and it's Ja has a lot more to his game than Zion, so it lends to more situations. I think it's a good question. I mean, we'll see. I know we'll be tuned in. I know they're gonna be playing for a long time, so we'll see. James Harden got the whole league on watch, on notice. All right, let's move over to the NFL. Who's for real? Who's for real in the NFL? The real contenders, because I'm seeing an 11-0 or at one point an 11-0 Steelers team. Dog, they are very regular looking all of a sudden. I don't know what's up with all their wide receivers dropping a rock. That's a whole nother question. I've never seen anything like that.
Same guys we were praising 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, they drop a lot of passes.
Yeah.
Roethlisberger is getting rid of the ball quick, but they can't push it downfield.
Not at all.
And this is not, and this is interesting too, because it's not one of those situations that they don't have the talent to push it downfield. They have wideouts that can push it downfield, but I don't know if it's the play calling or if it's Ben or whatever they're trying to do, but they can't get it downfield. Their offense is very suspect. And I think it's been under the radar suspect for a little while, but that offense is very suspect.
Well, and then their defense just has injury on top of injury on top of injury on top of injury. I mean, the Bud Dupree injury, that's freaking huge for them, man. You can't keep losing these pass rushers, right? So, yeah. I mean, like that type of stuff, they obviously felt that. And now you're running a bunch of backups in there. The one thing I will say with them, though, man, like their season has been so crazy.
Yeah.
That, like, if you would have asked me, like, yo, are we going to put money on them going 16-0? Like, absolutely not. They've had buys canceled. They've had games moved to fucking Wednesday. I mean, they have had so much shit happen that, yeah, I mean, I didn't see them. The fact that they lost the last 2 games doesn't surprise me. Like, eventually, like, there's only so much that you can do and only so much that you can go through in a year before you're just fucking beat. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. They have not had a bye yet at all, right?
Like they had I think they did have a bye, but it was like a game got moved or rescheduled.
So they're still prepping for the game.
Yeah,
it's not a true bye.
They didn't have a true bye.
They haven't been out the building for a few days, right? Like they haven't had that situation happen yet. So I just think that they've had a crazy season. I'm still not going to count out Tomlin as a coach going forward for that team in the playoffs. You know, I'm not going to count out Roethlisberger. I still think that's a dangerous team, and I still think you don't want to see them in the playoffs. But yeah, we've definitely seen some of the issues with them. The wide receiver thing is huge because that's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
It's not running the ball anymore. They don't do that well.
Speaking really quick, I think speaking of running the ball, they literally run zero shot or zero play action for whatever reason.
Yeah, I heard that on the were they talking about on the broadcast that they don't do play action at all. They refuse to do it because they want to protect Roethlisberger.
I was talking about that the other day. Like, yeah, he gets the ball out quick, but when they're throwing, there's not a lot of deception in their shit.
Yeah,
it's like he'll come out empty 5 wide, and everybody's running 4 or 5 yard routes, right? It's an interesting offense. He's getting the ball out super quick, but they're not pushing it upfield and
downfield at all.
And they're dropping a ton of balls. So,
if you looked at that game the other day, the DB started sitting on all those throws, right? So I mean, eventually, if you're not a threat to take it over the top at all, it was the same thing with New Orleans with the Saints with Drew Brees last year, right? Remember, at a certain point, he just couldn't throw the ball anymore, and it's like, yo, we're just gonna sit on all these routes, wait our turn, eventually we're gonna get one. And Roethlisberger is obviously a lot more careless with the ball than Breeze has ever been, but yeah, I mean it's interesting. But again, I cannot discount what they've gone through and the fact that those boys just might be tired.
I could see them legit taking not taking them off, but getting shit together these next couple weeks and then getting to the playoffs and all. Yeah, they show up and they're like, oh shit, this team was 11-0,
and he might want to just get into the playoffs healthy too. I mean, they are losing guys left and right.
Right.
So I just feel like, yeah, man, I mean, they've had weeks they can't practice, like all types of crazy shit with that squad has been going on. So, I mean, I think here's the thing. Here's how you know they're a well-coached and well-prepared squad. I think a lot of teams would have folded.
With what?
Just all the shit that the Steelers have had to deal with. Yeah, just the amount of things. They've had COVID. James Conner has COVID every other week. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me give you we're gonna play a little game. I'm gonna give you a bundle of 3 teams. You're gonna pick 2 of the 3 that you want that you like the most, and then we're gonna pare down the 2 to 1. So I'm gonna give you these 3 teams in the AFC, and then you'll tell me why you're getting rid of one.
So I get to write one off.
You get to write one off, exactly. In the AFC, I'm gonna bundle.
Is this to win the Super Bowl? Is that what we're asking?
No. This is we can get to that another time. But we're just who you would take out of these teams. The first bundle of 3 I'm gonna give you is the Indianapolis Colts, the Tennessee Titans, and the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, the shaky quarterbacks.
I'll give you those 3. I was actually gonna give you the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you those 3. Out of the Colts, Texans, and Browns.
Titans.
I'm sorry. Titans, Colts, and Browns. Eliminate one and tell me why. Out of the AFC. I guess who has a better chance of coming out of the AFC out of those 3?
The Colts. I'll eliminate the Colts.
Why?
Don't trust Phillip Rivers. That defense has proved that it can be suspect at times. And they're just the least favorite of those 3 teams for me. I don't really know what they are offensively.
Yeah.
I know that they can play really good defense, but again, that defense has been exposed. You and I talk about all the time. Their defense has been exposed.
Yeah. They're tough, though.
And I just know that the Phillip Rivers fucking defecation game is on its way. He's going to have his 3-pick debacle.
Yeah,
I don't trust him. I've seen enough, man. 20 years we've been watching this movie.
Especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, like this is
no thanks.
Phillip Rivers. No thank you. I'll pass. Hard pass.
Yeah. Okay, so then out of Tennessee, Derrick Henry running wild, and Cleveland, who you saw last night, who would you take out of those 2?
Tennessee. Playoff tested Derrick Henry. That's it.
Play action stupid. AJ Brown.
Yeah, they have a solid team. Their defense sucks ass. I love Vrabel. Like, give me Mike Vrabel as my head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator. We can go to war.
It factor
for sure. And they talk about having identity. They know what the hell they want to do every single week, and you cannot stop it.
All 3 of those teams 9-4 currently.
Give it to Deuce and let him do his thing.
So the Titans. So essentially, you're saying the Titans are the The third best team in the AFC behind Pittsburgh and Buffalo, or are and the Chiefs?
Well, the Chiefs, they're not. They're certainly behind the Chiefs.
Yeah. So then what? You got them as the third best. You got them behind the Chiefs and Buffalo.
No, I like the Steelers more than I like.
Hey, because mind you,
I like the Steelers more than I like the Titans. You know what though? I don't know, man. I mean, no,
it's tough, right?
When you put it that way, like my mind can't wrap itself around Titans as third best team in the AFC. Like it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, man, last year they almost made it to the fucking Super Bowl last year. You know what I mean? Like, and they're gonna do the same thing. You know what they're gonna do. We talk about all the time. Teams that know who they are and what they want to accomplish, it's that much easier. Mike Vrabel knows going into the game what he wants to accomplish.
And they're
we want to stay in the game for a couple quarters, and by the second half, teams can't handle Derrick Henry. By the second half, if we're not getting blown out and we're not forced to put the ball in Tannehill's hands like that, right? If we're in a lead going to the second half or we're in a close ball game, Derrick Henry's going to wear you out. That dude gets better in the second half, and the defenses get sick and tired of tackling him.
You know what's interesting about what you're saying is that the Cleveland Browns pop into my mind that they could do everything that you're saying with Chubb and Hunt by just wearing you down, running the football.
For sure.
Literally, last night, Kareem Hunt was doing absolutely nothing, and then all of a sudden he ended the game with like 2 touchdowns and like 180 total yards.
All it takes
and he wasn't doing anything till like the second half of the game. Like
you can stop those guys when your legs are fresh for 20 minutes, right? But the second half, dude, I mean, how Derrick Henry's inflicted punishment. He's running downhill. He's fucking huge. You know, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are both big guys. Like, those guys are running with power. Like, we love passing, man. We love throwing the ball and all that. But listen, man, nobody wants to deal with a team that can run it down your throat because, let's face it, defenses aren't built for that anymore in the NFL, right? Unless you're like the Saints, defenses aren't built to dominate against the run, right? You're really looking to stop the spread and all the crazy passing that's going on. But there's no cure for the running game.
Yeah,
with these punishing running backs.
Yeah, just under 110 total yards for Kareem Hunt, 2 touchdowns, and Nick Chubb had 2 touchdowns as well. So
yeah. I mean, Derrick Henry had 26 carries for 215 yards last week. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what do you want to do, man? He's got 1,500 yards on the year. We still got 4 games to go. So I mean, it's just like they know what they want to do, man. And he gets better throughout the season. That's why when it came to the playoffs last year, he rushed for 700 yards, man. You have to feed your running back. You keep feeding those backs throughout the year, the more carries that they get, they're just going off momentum at that point, man. And people don't want to tackle that man. If it's 14-14 at halftime, you don't want to play the Tennessee Titans because they're toting that thing.
Okay, let me ask you this. Before we move over to the NFC, we talked about the Steelers. We know what we think about the Chiefs, right? Oh, let me angle it this way. Can Buffalo keep up with the Chiefs?
No, so this is my
How do you feel about Buffalo?
Yeah, so this is where I'm at with Buffalo, man. Like, again, we all year Josh Allen gets better every single week. At the same time, man, we know that when it comes to the playoffs, how many quarterbacks really walk into their first playoff run and have a ton of success, right? Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, we're talking about the league NFL MVP. His last 2 playoffs, he's been beyond subpar, right? And this is a guy who was the MVP of the league last year, Lamar Jackson. So I think that, like, if you look at the leaps that Josh Allen has made, he has made quantum leaps, right? From where he was, from when he was drafted, the guy could not complete a pass to a D3 receiver. And now he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. To then say, hey, man, we need you to make that next leap again this year to becoming a playoff winning quarterback, I just think that's it. Can he do it? Yes, absolutely, right? But you're talking about leaps and strides and progress from where he was at the beginning of the year to now that would be putting so much, and we just haven't seen it before.
You saying like it's just too much of an ask to be like,
it's a lot.
yo, you got to go down to Arrowhead and go get a win on the road.
Exactly, man. And like, and he could go there and lose 50-0. I wouldn't hold it against him because again, he has made so many leaps that I wouldn't doubt that next year he'd come back stronger. But I just think as a young quarterback like that, who's never been in the playoffs and is having his first taste of success in a young team, young head coach, you're just asking for a lot. And that's where these guys like Tomlin and Roethlisberger and Reed and Mahomes, that's where they get their money in the playoffs, exposing teams that have never been there before. Brady and Belichick did it for years. You don't have to have the best team. You don't have to have the hottest team. You need to know what the fuck you're doing. And Josh Allen has never been in that environment.
And they've done that, and Belichick and those guys used to do that to teams that weren't rookies.
Yeah, Peyton Manning.
Do you remember Peyton Manning? Do you remember
Phillip Rivers? All those guys. Graveyard.
The Chargers were like that was the year they were going to do it. They were like 12-4.
They were great.
They went and got smoked in New England.
Yeah.
They got murdered. So
yeah. When you're not ready for that, so I mean, again, you're asking. Andy Reid is beyond playoff tested, right? Mike Tomlin. You start looking at those coaches in the AFC that are going to be going to the playoffs. You're talking about some boys who know what they're doing. Even the Titans last year won a few ball games. I just think that's a huge ask for the Bills. But I do think that I fucking love Josh Allen.
Hey, I'm there. Hey, I'll say this. They go down 24-7 against Buffalo. The Chiefs. It's quiet.
Oh yeah,
because they seem they can keep the pressure on unlike a team like the Texans. I'll say this before we move over to the NFC about the Chiefs. The Chiefs seem to be toying with people and not really taking motherfuckers seriously.
Yeah, I think they're on cruise control.
Yeah, I think they kind of show up, and then when a team puts a little pressure on them, like, oh fuck, all right,
they'll go ahead and win now.
We got to go turn it up now.
Yeah,
okay, here we go. Like the other night, they were losing to Miami. And then all of a sudden it was like 31-10.
Yeah, it's like okay.
And look, this is the funny part about the game last week. They come out super lackadaisical. They go down 10-0, I believe. Then they run off like 30 straight. And then they get lackadaisical again, and they end up winning the game by like 5 points or something, 4 points.
Yeah.
It's like they kind of, to me, they seem like they're like, we've been here before, regular season. Let's get through this. We'll mess around with y'all for a little bit. And they're just waiting to get to the playoffs, but making sure they have home court.
Yeah, of course. And
games are coming in Kansas City.
And I usually hate on-off switch teams like that, like to just turn it on, turn it off, because like eventually like that's just not going to work. But for them, it's just different, man. They have the ability to score points whenever they want to, man. If shit's not going right, just send the cheetah on the loose, and you're gonna get a touchdown. And
and they're actually really really gross when it's like 4 down territory. Like you're going to give these guys 4 downs now. Like you're going for it on 4th. It's like, man, that they're tough to beat when they only get 3 downs to get 10 yards. Now you're going to give them 4.
So you're asking Josh Allen to go in there and do that. And like, shout out Cody, said the defense KC is shaky. Always has been, but they've won a Super Bowl with that shaky defense.
Right.
And your defense doesn't matter when you're putting up 50 points. But I'll say this, man, and the last thing on Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen will win a Super Bowl in the NFL.
Wow. People in Buffalo rejoicing.
It might not be in Buffalo, but he's going to win it now. He will win a Super Bowl, man. Like, I think that dude, we're going to look at like if he continues this trajectory, in 2 years, this guy's fucking unstoppable.
It's going to be one of those.
He's really good, man.
It's going to be one of those things where it's like, yo, man, you got to get through Pat.
And the red zone thing is real too. Yeah, for sure. You got to get through Pat.
If you can get through Pat, then you might get one. It's kind of like Brady and Manning. Like, I guess I'll give you one.
Folks had to go through. Brady gave Manning. Yeah, Manning won, and Manning stole another one on the way out.
Then all of a sudden, Roethlisberger shows up. He's like, "Fuck, man, what the fuck is going on here?"
Yeah, exactly.
All right, but let's move over to NFC real quick. I'm gonna give you the same situation. I'm gonna bundle up 3, and then you're gonna give me, I guess, your favorite and why. You're gonna eliminate one, and then we'll eliminate another one. What happened?
Yo, shout out Level Up 7, our guy. This guy's giving me shit all year about Josh. Bro, I have been pro Josh Allen all year. Where have you been, man? Where have you been? I have been singing Josh Allen's praise. I thought he sucked when they drafted him, but I've been singing his praise all year, man.
Yo, shout out Level Up. He said, damn, Nick, You really changed your heart on Allen.
Yeah.
You said it's hope for Trubisky then.
I'm pretty sure he played ball at Wyoming, as is what he told me. So he's a level F7 is a Wyoming guy. So
that's funny.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out Level Up, man. I appreciate you watching, my boy. Okay, here are the NFC squads I wanna bundle up. I'm gonna give you the Green Bay Packers 10-3, New Orleans Saints 10-3, and the Los Angeles Rams 9-4. Out of those three, eliminate one off top.
Does Drew Brees play football again in 2021 or 2020?
This is, the situation of their team. You gotta. What you mean?
Oh man,
he's coming back, but
when?
we don't know when. And their quarterback is a running back currently.
Yeah. Oh man. And they just lost to the Eagles. Listen to the Eagles for me. I don't give a fuck who's at quarterback. Man.
Oh, listen,
I'm going to cross off the Saints.
Wow.
Now, the defense is so good. I can't. All right, so who's the Saints, Packers, and Rams?
Saints, Packers, Rams.
I got to cross off the Rams, and I really don't feel good about it.
Yeah.
Only because of Jared Goff. And I think the Jared Goff criticism has gotten so hard that, like, now we don't even recognize the good things about Jared Goff. Like, we've shat on him so hard that, like, look, Jared Goff is fine. Like, you can get to the Super Bowl clearly with Jared Goff as your quarterback. But, yeah, I don't think that team has as much talent on offense as, they're just the worst of the three teams. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, I'll say this about kind of the Rams and Saints, since that's who you were leaning on knocking off. I think you line up the Saints and the Rams, both of their defenses are stellar. And then when it gets to the playoffs, Drew Brees should be back. And I just trust Peyton. I trust Peyton and Brees versus McVay and Goff. So that's
what it comes down to.
That's what I got to.
Yeah, no paying Sean Payton. I definitely trust him in the playoffs, man.
Yeah, it's tough. It's interesting with the two wild cards, especially in the NFC, because then you got the second tier like Arizona, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, literally, I don't trust the Buccaneers a little bit.
Take everything I said about Josh Allen and multiply it by 4 for the Cardinals as far as inexperience and they're in laying the egg. I don't trust them at all in the playoffs.
Right, and you already made it clear how you feel about Arians.
Yeah, Bruce. I've been saying I've been saying it all year.
They said Leftwich and Arians sus over there.
I've been telling y'all, suspect. That boy is suspect, and him and Tom Brady do not see eye to eye. No shot. Him and Tom Brady see eye to eye. And I just think you haven't really heard about it, but they don't see eye to eye. You can tell. And the Packers, I think the Packers division that they play in is so bad that they can just coast, man.
Yeah.
That you don't want to play 12 for a couple games at the end of the year, fine. I don't think that's going to happen, but they have some options, and I think Aaron Rodgers is playing at such a level right now. I don't care about the defense. I don't care about the rest of the team. Aaron Rodgers is playing at such a high level and is so locked in and is so ready for this and is tested and is going to be able to maintain this, in my opinion. He doesn't have bad games. That I want no part of the Green Bay Packers. Absolutely zero part of the Green Bay Packers. And that's crazy because the rest of their team is pretty sus. But
yeah, it's
Parker to Adams that's all you need.
Yeah, Rodgers to Adams.
Rodgers to Adams,
yeah.
Something with Devontae Parker, Devontae Adams. But yeah.
Look, listen to these point differentials. So the Kansas City Chiefs point differentials plus 122 points.
It's crazy.
For all that shit we were just talking, and it's real about Pittsburgh's defense or offense, excuse me, their point differential is 112. Then third, guess who's third?
Didn't Pittsburgh blow somebody out though? Like absolutely, like mercilessly. Didn't they fucked somebody up? Was it Cincinnati? Then they put the hurt on Cincinnati.
Yeah.
A couple games against the Bengals will really help that point differential.
People were saying that it was like I think the line was 7, and people were trying to sell us. They smashed Cleveland too.
Yeah, they smashed Cleveland that one game too.
Yeah, they were trying to sell us Cleveland. They were trying to sell us.
They beat the Jags by 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had some games where they've absolutely smashed them. They beat the Browns by 31. And they beat the Bengals by 26. I mean, that's 75 points right there.
Yeah. So, but the Saints are down there at 103 point differential. Let me see.
Where are the Bills?
Point differential. Their only point differential is 38. I don't know what happened to their defense.
They were good last year.
Yo, guess who scored the most points in the league? At 410, Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
More
There you
points
go.
in more points than the Chiefs at 403.
What's their differential?
The Packers are 87.
Man, that defense is fucking terrible. The
Yeah,
defense gave them 330 points.
Yeah, it's 323 points allowed. So, so you knock off the Saints. So you're taking Green Bay. So your best team in the NFC is Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. I think that if
I don't know if I could get there, bro.
If Drew Brees doesn't come back, right? Like depending on how much Taysom Hill we have to deal with, that's going to get shakier every week. Great story. Going to get shakier every week. The Seahawks, man, the Seahawks defense is just so bad. It's really bad. Yeah, I think it's the Packers. Who do you trust the most in the NFC? I think I trust Aaron Rodgers the most out of any player in the NFC right now.
Yeah, I think the Saints are the best team in the NFC.
With Taysom Hill?
No, we need Breeze there, but
he's not there.
But I'll tell you this: they've shown even with Taysom Hill, they're super tough still. Like it's not like they've just fallen off a cliff. The boys are 10-3. They've lost one game since Breeze left.
Sure. Do you trust taking Taysom Hill into a playoff game as your starter?
At the
maybe if you get an NFC East team to come in town, maybe you play against fucking Washington.
But listen to me, like maybe not the NFC Championship. It depends who the matchup is, man. Like I might.
When you say at the Superdome, that's like one of those New Orleans things. But every stat like that we associate with the Saints, is under Drew Brees, right?
Okay. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like in the dome against Drew Brees, but it's not against Drew Brees; it's against Taysom Hill.
I think
he's looked fine. Like he's looked better than I thought he would, but I think that you kind of saw it a little bit last week. Like he can only do so much.
Let me give you an example. If the Saints were to play the Rams, I love the Saints in that spot.
Okay.
I think they get tons of pressure on Goff. Goff fucks up. They don't have to air it out and score a good amount of points. Like you said, I think Green Bay gives the Saints more trouble if Breeze is not playing because Aaron, I don't give a fuck who your defense is.
Doesn't matter.
He's going to score some points.
I don't want to hear it. 39 touchdowns against 4 picks. He's completing 70% of his passes this year. Yeah, he's at a different level.
Yeah, he's going to score some points.
And he's in his bag right now. Like he's hitting stride right now. Yeah. Crazy. So
and I think in those 4 picks, I think 2 of them came in one game.
They came against Tampa. Yeah, the shitty game against Tampa.
Yeah, the guy
awful game against Tampa, and that's it. You take out that game, the numbers are silly.
Buddy doesn't turn it over.
Never.
It's pure point blank.
Just doesn't happen.
He just doesn't turn it over.
You're not getting this back.
You're not.
This is mine now.
And matter of fact, I'm probably going to take it down the field.
Yeah, and I'm going to score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you might score on our defense, but that's fine. I'm going to come back out and score. So yeah, if you look at it as a matter of trust, the Green Bay Packers are the team I trust the most in the NFC.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, for the reasons that we just laid out. Now, if Breeze was back, and when Breeze is back, man, his arm is fucking dead.
Dust.
It's non-existent.
It's dust.
It's finished.
Dust.
Yeah.
His
arm is non-existent. So like. Yeah, I think eventually you gotta throw the ball. If they get into put it this way, with whatever quarterback they have, if they get into a shootout with the Green Bay Packers, it's a problem.
Yeah, I agree. Level Up said Seahawks defense got better and they always tighten up towards the end of the season.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. I agree with that. Let me ask you this: is that
the opposite of everything I said about Josh Allen is true about the Seahawks? Tested, good coach. Yeah.
Would you say that's the dark horse in the NFC?
Yeah.
Seattle can just get Jamal Adams can make some plays. All of a sudden, the defense looks tough, and then Russell gets back to how he looked early in the year.
Yeah, it's hard to say that right now because just record-wise, the last few games. But yeah, there's still. I mean, Russell Wilson is still Russell Wilson. It's still the Seattle Seahawks.
Uh-oh, we lost Quick again. But
I get their defense has played better, but that defense is entirely suspect. It can be very, very, very suspect, and we've seen plenty of games in which it was very, very, very suspect.
yeah, I agree with Nick. I think it is very, very suspect too when they're going to actually have to play a playoff team where they go in there and have to make some noise. But the defense, you're right, level up there. The Seahawks D has played better. They have showed up and had some stingy games like they did against the Giants. I know it was Colt McCoy and those guys.
Yeah, cool, Colt McCoy.
But I said a few weeks back, like their defense has played a lot better. They were historically bad early in the year. And
they were awful.
They haven't been that bad yet.
I mean, Cam Newton was looking like an MVP candidate in that first game against them. Remember?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Come a long way since then.
So let me give you this. Since we just laid out who we think is the best teams in each division, AFC, NFC. You got the Seahawks as your kind of dark horse in the NFC. Who's the dark horse in the AFC? Is it the Colts? Is it Miami if they can sneak in? Who's the dark horse in the AFC?
So
is
we're
it
not
Baltimore?
So Cleveland doesn't count as a dark horse in the AFC right now?
I guess they could.
Yeah, I mean, they're not leading their division. It'd be Cleveland for me because that ability to tote the rock.
Yeah.
That would be it. I mean, if we're going to go deeper than that, man.
It starts to get shaky.
It gets so shaky in the AFC.
The AFC is super top heavy, and then
it's very top heavy.
The NFC is kind of sprinkled.
Yeah, Miami wouldn't scare me in the playoffs. I mean, that's again another tall order. Rookie quarterback, young head coach, young team. Great job this year so far, but yeah, I can't go there. It would have to be, it'd either be the Browns, and if they don't count, Baltimore. If Baltimore can get in and snag that wild card spot, because at the end of the day, look. Lamar Jackson's dangerous. Like, we're not going to – we've talked about him. We've said he needs to improve on this, and there's certain things that just don't look right. But he can still be absolutely fucking terrifying if he's in his bag and he's having one of those type of games. Yeah. We just haven't seen it in the postseason yet.
Yeah.
But, if you're a defensive coordinator, you're like, yo, would you rather prepare for Baker or Lamar? You're probably like, yeah, give me Baker.
Right.
It
depends what your roster looks like, right?
Baker's going to give you a few.
What type of matchup? Yeah, it's interesting. The NFC, the league period is interesting, and especially going into these playoff games with no fans and that type of shit. Unless you're in Tampa and the building is sold out.
Yeah, Florida doesn't give a fuck. Like, come on, man. we're having a watch party for away games.
So we'll leave it there, man. Big Nick the Quick. Tuesday evening. We're back Friday, man. Rock with us. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. For Big Nick the Quick, I am your host, Sean Little. Make sure you subscribe everywhere. Smash the likes everywhere you can. Share it with the homies. Lock in with us. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. We out of here.